Red, directed by Robert Schwentke. I can't even read my own writing.
Schwentke.
Another one of those big name ones that's got Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, Carl Urban, Mary-Louise Parker.
Helen Mirren.
What it starts out with is, you got the ex-CIA agent. He's retired. He's got nothing else to do. He's bored. He's got no family. So he's talking to Mary-Louise Parker, who, when they send him his not severance checks,
like retirement
his,
checks.
his retirement checks, he likes talking to the Mary-Louise Parker's character so much he just tears them up and calls, "My check didn't come." So he's developed this relationship, and he's decided he likes her enough to go meet her. And all of a sudden, right before this happens, the CIA decides to assassinate him. It's decided that his conversations with her are too much, and so they go on. There's all of a sudden this huge plot, and they decide to start axing off Bruce Willis, and then they have to take her out too because he's been talking with her. And so he goes and pulls out of his old buddies from the retirement homes, Morgan Freeman from dying of cancer in the retirement home, John Malkovich out in the crazy woods. And it's just kind of then it becomes kind of just a comedy action, some silly antics of government conspiracy meets the old school ways.
Yeah, kind of getting the team back together kind of movie, which we've had a lot of this year.
Yeah, which they even use that stereotypical. I think Morgan Freeman says that. I think we're getting the band back together. This one wasn't bad. Let's see, what did I write? It was funny, but it was a bunch of old people. You know, it's kind of scary to see how old some of these people are getting. And you're like, oh, you're still doing action movies. That's good. But this one was reminded me a lot of Losers. You know, had that kind of ridiculous comedy action. Don't really care about the plot, which was kind of a turnoff for me.
The plot's more secondary to the characters.
Yeah, just kind of getting the characters out there. The best part is Bruce Willis and Mary-Louise Parker's relation. He goes to meet her for the first time, and then they're running for their lives. And it's just like goes from a bored girl reading romance novels to having to fight for her life against the CIA. So I liked that element a bit, but it kind of came off as they wanted it to be more of something, and it kind of just came off as like a half-hour Get Smart show that they expanded into something.
With a few more explosions.
Yeah, a few more explosions. A couple good fight scenes. I actually really like Carl Urban in this.
Yeah.
Huge. Ever since Doom, I'm like, basically anyone in Doom is awesome in my opinion. So I liked him in this, and see what else. Robert Schwentke directed Time Traveler's Wife and Flight Plan. So he can do romance and the thriller. I don't know, Flight Plan wasn't that great, but he at least can.
I prefer
some of his other stuff
Eye.
has been good, and this was a so. I think he was kind of trying to break out of his element, do something different, and it succeeded. But I gave it a C.
A C, okay.
Yeah.
I gave it a B+, only because, not necessarily because it is B+ worthy, but because we've seen this movie so much this year with the A-Team and with the Expendables and with the Losers. And I thought this was the best of all of them. I thought it was the most tolerable. Out of all of those movies, it's the one I'd probably want to watch again versus any of those other ones, which was kind of a one-time watch to horrible. Yeah. And I thought it was really funny, and I thought a lot of the comedy pulled off really well. The action is kind of light. It's sort of a light, even though there's actually a kind of a large body count in the movie.
Yeah.
People are getting shot left and right, and it's sort of a problem that the movie has this lighter tone while still trying to be so violent, because none of the death really matters. Yeah. Even when main characters are dying off, you don't really feel for it because the movie is so light on its toes, so fluffy. But I like that you said that you really liked the relationship between Bruce Willis and Mary-Louise Parker, because I completely agree. When the movie first started and they're just kind of bantering back and forth on the phone, and he's talking to her, and I was like, I kind of like this movie better than Where I Know It's Going to Go. And I really liked her in general, and I think she kind of showed that she could be in a movie. She could be a movie actress if she wants to be, and she has a lot of fun sass and stuff like that. There's not a lot of great female actresses out there that can kind of play that character. So I hope she gets more work. I had fun with the movie, and I had fun with the plot and the set pieces and stuff like that. But in the end, it got a little too convoluted for its own good, for the type of movie that it is. Once we start bringing in conspiracies with the vice president, that's when I started to kind of scratch my head and say, okay, I shouldn't be having to think this hard for a movie like this.
Yeah.
And I kind of got a little bit annoyed with that. But I liked a lot of the side characters. I think John Malkovich was really, really funny in the movie.
Oh, definitely. One of my favorite parts.
Yeah. And I really liked Brian Cox as Ivan.
Yep.
And the relationship he has with Helen Mirren is kind of fun, too. And so there's a lot of great elements to the movie. They just don't completely hold together. But I think, like I said, as far as the getting the team back together movies that we had all 2010, I think this is the best of the bunch.
There you go. Plus, it's got old people in it, and you like to rate old people.
I do like them. Well, they're good actors. These are real actors that have been in real movies, and they've some of them have gotten awards, and some of them have been nominated for awards. Unlike the Expendables, which were a bunch of stunt people slash WWE wrestlers.
They have all been around since the 80s, thank you.
and they still can't act very well. All right, so we're going to move on to Animal Kingdom, which is directed by David Michaud.